So we just shot one of the best episodes that this podcast has ever had. The guest that we brought to you this season, this second episode, is Georgie Ndirangu. You might not know much about Georgie if you're living under a rock. The guy's a literal bona fide rock star. BBC, former BBC journalist.
Top.
Has a rock star lifestyle in Kigali. Has the most amazing sound bites and has had a life that's both full of happiness and struggle. And one of the best things about this episode is that we get to share that entire experience with you. Eli, what were your thoughts on that?
Honestly, it was the openness to go to places that men of his caliber probably wouldn't. There's the initial shell you want to be in and be like, no, and I got through that situation because I grinded. But Georgie was open, and if you've ever looked up to Georgie, I have personally, because he's older than me. But I've looked up to this guy as well, especially when it comes to work-life balance. And he unpacked that, he talked about his mother. It was such an edifying episode, and the vulnerability for me was what was key. The vulnerability. So
guys,
value. So much value.
We hope you enjoy that episode half as much
as we enjoyed making it. Because we had a ball.
Episode 2.
Enjoy. Hey guys, welcome back to mantalk.ke. Another season. We're so excited that you followed us this far. This season has so many surprises, and there's one I'm about to share with you just now. So, before you go any further, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you're on the podcast platform, you know what to do there as well. Now, there's a gentleman to my left and another gentleman to my left as well. Both of them have become brothers to me. And the one particularly in the middle has an amazing story. If you follow us on social media, you know all about this man. Without too much introductions, you probably know him if you know me, Mr. Jordan Ndirangu.
Hey.
Mr. Jordan Ndirangu. Mr. Jordan Ndirangu.
We're gonna have applause.
We'll put it in the
There we go.
So yeah.
Nice to be here, finally.
Yes, finally. Pending. But thank you for making the time. Busy guy.
Well,
busy guy.
I mean, if it means something to you, make time.
He's already
inside.
That's the tone.
That we're setting. Like,
so yeah,
Georgie, to be honest, this has been a long time coming, and it's an interview that we've
Why did your voice change? Are you emotional? Are you getting?
I'm about to cry.
Okay.
There's something in my eye. I don't know. But yeah, it's been a long time coming, and I can't wait to knock out a mantalk.ke episode with you. Today, the interviewer will be interviewed.
For once.
Hey,
for
yeah,
once,
well,
for once.
let's do it then.
Before we jump into it,
Yeah.
as you can see, we're in a different space. The aesthetics are different and beautiful, and that's because we're in Ikigai. They have some amazing spaces. We'll put the link for them down below in the description. Co-working space, shooting space. So Ikigai, thank you very much. And now let's have an amazing conversation in an amazing place.
Yeah.
Let's jump
First
into
of all, Georgie, I have the first question I'm gonna shoot, because I'm gonna shoot from a hip, is, dude, a lot of guys who watch mantalk.ke have been writing to us telling us they think that men tend to have a narrative that's very negative, especially when it comes to how they're viewed by society. You obviously are not ailed by this particular illness. Everyone seems to.
Or I hide it well.
That's also a possibility. What's one of the best things you find about being a man in society today? As a man, Georgie, what's the best value you have as a man that you think has impacted so many people in your lives? Every time we are shining a light on the negative aspects of men, but today I want us to shine it on the positive. And you as a man, Georgie, what's the best thing about being a man for you?
Right. We always say, every time we're discussing things with Eli, we always say problem, solution. Problem, solution. The most interesting thing about being a man is that most of the time in most narratives, we're the problem. So very easily, we could be the solution, because it's things that we're doing ourselves, you know. If it comes to maybe vices like what we've seen with maybe violence against women, conversations about maybe partners and how there's a double standard when a woman has different partners and what progression in career progression, whatnot. All these things are things, even representation in parliament, you know, just things like that. These are things that policy has made it in such a way that the public views things that are legal and written on paper and whatnot as a man's decision, you know? And that's not the case, but it's up to us to change that narrative. So we are equally the solution as we are the problem. That's what I would say for now, with a lot of things.
That's a powerful thing.
So the best thing about being a man is being the solution to the problem.
being the solution to ourselves, since we are the problem.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I really like that. I've never looked at it from that point of view. Georgie, when I first came across you, I think it was through IG. And I remember this is back when you worked at a media house, and you'd look and you'd see this guy happy all the time, you know. And I introduced myself to Georgie at maybe early 30s, when you don't know you personally, you just look and there's a template that looks like life is fantastic. But I want to know, the whole purpose today is knowing the journey that got Georgie to that place. And I think an amazing place to always start is, you know, the beginnings. So what the transformative years, the early development. So I want to find out from you, like, where you, if you don't mind sharing, like where you grew up, and just a few things that you think has been a consistent factor in your life from baby Georgie to now. Yeah.
I think I have three places in my life that I can say I grew up, both physically and mentally. One, I was born in Mombasa. Mwana bahari akawa mwana habari.
I was going to say the same thing.
Of course you are. Yeah,
because I know you said Bwana, and
so born in Coast, but we didn't stay too long, right? I normally use that as an excuse to speak Swahili unprovoked to anyone who just asked. And then, of course, then we came to Nairobi. I was still really young, and I think that's the upbringing where you get to experience school at a certain age in Nairobi, and then the shift in Swahili as well. And then a very, you know, like Nairobi, once you come to Nairobi, it just attacks you, you know, like Nairobi doesn't wait, you know, doesn't wait, come here, Nairobi says, hey, I'm here, you know, like get with the program. And then, of course, life happened. I did most of my school here, university here, high school here, primary school here. But now, so that's step one and step two. But when I now transitioned into an adult, which is funny because I always say, like, people don't really understand my relationship with Kigali most of the time. I've said it in a lot of stories and whatnot. But I left Kenya to go to Kigali, maybe just to avoid all the details, the rest. But I left at a time when I had just left uni. And, you know, like in the Kenyan setting of university, like you're taken care of, you know, your parents give you pocket money and whatnot. So you're fine. So I left uni, I'd just done internship, and I went straight to Rwanda. So I didn't experience the corporate life in Kenya. Right? I never experienced the corporate life in Kenya. I did internship, I worked at the ministry, but I was still being taken care of, and you get the 1,000 bob per day, whatever, that was something like that. But I never experienced being by myself in Kenya, in the corporate world. So I went to Kigali, and I thought that I had amassed so much knowledge in what offices want and what the social setting is like and whatnot, because we kind of had like a social something here when we were here, right? Before I left.
Yeah, it's the corporate culture in Nairobi is largely social, just as much as it is economical.
It was very separate actually at that time. Not like now. Because of course now we are older, so the people that we knew then are the ones who are managers and CEOs now, so you can be social with them. But back then it was older people who you had no business being social with. You just knew them as my boss and whatnot, right?
So it was more about the grind.
Social was social was Ngong Race Course, like when you had that money and Electric Avenue, I think in Westlands, you know, and then corporate was now you go to work on Monday, Friday, that's it. You know, like those people, you won't see them again until Monday. So I went to Kigali, and the first 2 years, I've said it over and over again in so many platforms, even mine, were not the best. But then in 2014, my life completely just did a whole, 360 means going back to the same, 180, right? And so Kigali raised me to be a man.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a strong statement.
Nairobi brought me up, but Kigali made me a man.
Was that was that to do with adapting in a new environment, or was it just the experiences?
I suffered badly. I suffered. I was broke, like broke to zero, where my mom used to tell me, why don't you just come back? What are you doing? You know, just come back. Come back. We'll make something. It's like, no, let me give it some more time and whatnot. So, and then when life happened, and then 2014 happened, that's when now things started to happen. You're like, this is why I've waited 2 years.
What were you setting yourself up to do before 2014 happened? What was the kind of the mind state you were in before 2014 happened? Was it that you were working towards something and then it never came?
No, I was just stubborn. I didn't want to come back. Because when I left here, I had some form of, like 1 or 2 people knew you, maybe 20 people knew you, 30 people knew you. So when you left and you leave at a certain point, you don't want to come back lower than when you left. You want to come, and you've gone out to a different country and you've come back. You want to come back, you know, like better than you. And you're like, you know, I mean, it's like people who go to the States and then they come back and the accent lasts 1 week, the money lasts 2 weeks, and then they're back to square one. You know what I mean? It's you wanted to come back like strong and formidable and like doing stuff that you were not doing before. And I refused to come back until that happened.
Wow.
Then in 2014, when that happened, when life changed,
what
I refused
that specific thing?
I switched. I changed to now CNBC hired me as an anchor, as a news anchor, but now representing Africa. So the regional representation.
Okay.
The guy that was the main presenter then, he broke his back. So there was a vacancy.
Listen, mysterious ways.
Hey, you know what?
There's wonders to perform.
Yeah, he's called Musoke, Kezio Musoke. He broke his back. He'd been gymming and he hurt his back, I think the second time. So it was so bad that he couldn't go back to work. So there was an opening and they came looking, and we had been doing some moderation, whatnot, and I got the job. And life never went back to being the same ever. So whenever I talk about Kigali, whenever I talk about Rwanda, I just hold it to such a high regard. I always tell my guys at the office, I'm so compromised. You can't make me do, even when I worked in media, I used to tell them, please don't give me Rwandan stories because I'm compromised. I love that country so much because they really made me a man in every aspect. Like I know 0, I know 100, I know 50, like having nothing to almost everything to having, you know, just a regular. So yeah. So those are the 3.
There's a moment
stages in my life.
There's a moment there I want to touch on, right? So you've mentioned the 0 and the journey, but I want you to just try and go me here, right? So you're Georgie now, 33. I want you to. What would you have said to the Georgie then?
My age.
Oh, that's the question number 5.
I mean, there you go.
It's already. We already know.
What would you have said to that guy? Because when you're at 0, you don't know what's going to happen in the next few years. But what would you have said to that guy? Because there might be another guy that's where you were at that point. So that's why I want you to do that. Send a message to that younger Georgie, something that would help him. Because I think there's some guys that are younger in that space.
Do you know funny? There's an app on Google where you write a letter to your 5 years, to the person 5 years older. And then it sends a message. Then you're just chilling, and then the message comes
in that time
from the guy that was there 5 years ago.
Wow.
It's really. I wrote a letter to myself, I think in 2012. It came in 2017, and I was like, what?
Wow.
This is what I was thinking. Anyway, so what I would say is, first of all, I know it's such a cliche, but really trust the process. Some things, no matter how much you rush them, no matter how much you feel like, I want this now, and then it has to take its natural progression. Some things go quicker than you think, some things go slower than you think, but you just have to trust natural progression. I always say you put your all into something, then you just let it. It's like putting what's it called, like these guys who put this Tic Tacs or whatever in Coke. And then they just watch as it fizzes. Yeah, Mentos. And then they watch as it fizzes. Just trust the natural progression. Things will happen exactly as they're supposed to be. If you give it your all and you just wait for, you know, like natural elements to happen.
And that's what you would tell the younger version of
I would tell younger self, just trust the natural progression of things. Save your money. These parties are going nowhere. Oh my God.
The figure just came.
Did you hear the clip?
Yeah. We had your mind do the math.
In 2012, we were going to race course, and we had a company where we were selling Jello shots at maybe 100 bob or something. Last weekend, there was a concert at race course. What's different? Do you get what I mean?
It's always
2000. That's 9 years ago. We were doing almost the same thing. What are we doing that's different apart from paying higher costs because of inflation? Do you know what I mean? Like the party is going to stay the same. You're going to have circles of friends that come and go, and you just have to allow. And then I would say to myself, stay healthy and be as kind as you can to everyone. That's the answer to everything.
Kindness.
Kindness, Kindness allows you so much and so many things. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Georgie,
that's
I'm
about
going
it.
to take you a step back because you've taken us to CNBC, but I want to know the decision before that. At what point, tell me about your journey towards choosing journalism. Because like when we had a conversation previously, you said that your training is actually not journalism.
No.
So what led Georgie of the past to choose to be Georgie of today when it comes to this specific career path?
Damn, you guys ask some nice questions. Yeah. Yeah, my background is in actuarial science, so a lot of finance, statistics, economics.
Hey, the boy is gifted, let me tell you.
Mathematician.
Man, yeah, if I had practiced, I probably wouldn't be here, you know?
Yeah.
See, trust the natural
The
progression of things.
process. Take your notebook out.
There we go.
Yeah.
I think I got lucky with journalism. I would say that. I think I got lucky with journalism, but I did not pick it. We stumbled into it because where we were, we had gone to do logistics and we didn't get the job in Kigali. We didn't get the job, and we were struggling so much to make the company or whatever provide a place where we could get the job done. And then it didn't work. We stayed broke for so many months. And then the company that we were in now said they had a radio and a TV. They had a radio, then a TV. And they told us to just come and, try and do 1, 2, 3 things. And that's how I stumbled into journalism. I never picked it. That's why I say I got lucky. I didn't pick it.
So you were literally at a low point in your life trying
Extremely.
to... Yeah.
2012, 2013. Yeah, extremely low point in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the last time I felt that low was this year.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, I feel like there's something over there.
Yeah.
So journalism essentially brings you out of, out of this like dire situation and leads you towards your purpose.
Yeah.
What aspects of yourself do you think that your early life have shown through your career? Like your early days, do you think that there's certain aspects of your early days and your childhood and basically your upbringing that are currently benefiting from the fact that you chose journalism?
Right. I know we're going to sorry to give the cheat sheet, but I know we're going to discuss like the people in our lives that have been very instrumental, but I feel like it's nice to mention it now.
Yeah.
I think one of the traits that I feel has been consistent all through the last 10 years or so has been, so two. One, you can suffer, like the world can be crumbling, but no one will ever know. No one will ever know. Straight face, get the work done, go cry in your shower. Right?
Listening to Usher.
Yeah. Well, and then number two, things will get better if you keep at it. Things will get better. Like the universe always rewards you. It's not your timing. It's always something bigger than you, right? So those two, and I get them from my mother, right? Like we never saw her suffer. We never saw anything happen that was wrong. But now that we've grown older, my mother now became my best friend, my mentor, all those things, my confidant. We hang out. When we want to gossip, we gossip together, go on road trips. And it became clear that there are a lot of things that younger you will never be able to handle.
Yeah.
You want to know so much, but you will not be able to handle them if they're told to you or if they're explained to you, if you experience them. You'll crash under pressure. That's why there's an adult, there's a teenager, and there's a child. There's some things that a child can't handle. As much as in this new age, we have so much information and we are able to absorb so much. That's why you see people have, like you're seeing a lot of, like people have mental disorders or people are sad, some people are depressed, you have serious anxiety. It's because sometimes, not to generalize it, but some of the issues can be attributed to receiving so much information and a bout of things that you're not ready for. Yeah. Right? Like you need to split it to experience it in different ages, something like that. So I think what has shown through my career then and now has been that just resilience, just keep going. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Unless you lie down and say, okay, I'm done.
There it is.
Jesus, take me now. You have to keep going. Right? And the worst thing is you can only linger so much. And then after 2 days, you're like, I'm still at the same place. And if I don't stop it, 1 year later, I'll still be at the same place.
Yeah.
That for me is a crippling thought that I can never entertain.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Ever, absolutely, never.
Yeah.
Never. I experienced that before in my younger years, 2012. I never want to be in the same place yesterday and today. Never.
So guys, I hope you're enjoying the episode so far. We're going to take a couple seconds of your time to talk to you about our amazing sponsor. If you're here to the tail end of last season, you know they were very much involved, and they're involved in this season too. So as we go on in the season, we're going to tell you about Ginsman and how it's been helping us take charge of our lives and how we're going week by week using the product. So I'll chuck it to you, Oscar. Ginsman, about taking charge, vitality, energy. With your lifestyle, how has it helped you since you started? Because I think you're about a month.
Yeah, I'm about a month in now. So I think the thing that it's helped me most with is my guy, it's end of year. So this is when we need to close all the transactions that we're doing. And at the same time, even for Man Talk, getting everything prepped, getting the team prepped, and still staying motivated to like have a nice social life. I still need to have that endurance.
100%.
And you see, where do I get that? So I just pop out Ginsman in the morning, get that energy going. Maybe a run here, some Arotimi workout there. I'm gonna say it, one or two, and then we see how it works. And like it's really, I feel like the more I use it, the better I feel.
Yes. I will say as well, like for Man Talk to even get behind a product, it's a big deal because our whole thing is about honesty. And for me, genuinely, when I've been trying to balance, I do about 6 things at one go. And even now, coming to set in the evening, I had Ginsman in the morning, and I genuinely don't think I'd have the energy to sit here, be present, be alert without it, because I've seen the difference. Even like recently, I was quite sick, and it's actually helped me have the energy to, when you're ill, the energy to actually go and eat, the energy to still push through. Genuinely, like, I can attribute it to this. So it's been a massive factor of my life. That's why
I didn't know you're using it. Like,
yeah, no, for real. Yeah. Every single morning now. So that's why we really do stand behind it. And just the ethos, taking charge of your life. That's what Man Talk's about. So if you want to do that, have some Ginsman, have some energy, be as productive as possible. So thank you, Ginsman.
Thank you, Ginsman.
Thank you so much. Back to the episode. All of the points that you've mentioned in your journey, and the one you're going to mention now, I'm sure, is on the other side of the darkest point is something so transformative. And that's why the movement you're saying is so key, because if you let that moment overtake you, you don't get to the other side of the hill and see exactly what was meant for you. So this is the question I've been dying to ask, because we had this conversation, I think 2 weeks ago. And the story you told me and the journey was so encouraging, because I can relate to it exactly the same. Like within a weekend, things have happened and it's completely different. So for people that don't know, which is the majority of people, if you don't mind sharing, how transformative was the last birthday for you? I'm not supposed to say your age.
33.
33. It's on the pendant. 33.
Yeah,
but the story you told me about that it's going to be so encouraging for some people, because they might be, like I said, on the other side of that hill. And if they don't do the movement, they might stay there. Like you said, that's torture. So what was that hill like for you?
Okay. Yeah, I can feel, if I get emotional, I mean, you guys will know what to do with the footage.
We have tissue. Yeah.
So all through, so I started making real money in 2014. I had never experienced such money before. It was a journalist salary, but we were not getting taxed for the first 4 months, 5, 6 months. So it was basically like a minister's salary in Rwanda. It was good money. It was great money. My first salary, I went to Dubai.
I remember.
Right?
Yeah.
Geesh.
I thought,
that's kind of
to be honest, I thought, well, we got taxed after. But I thought
the boys kept it duty free.
Dubai. He paid.
Like, what do you guys want to do? You know? And then you're so busy, so you don't spend it during the month. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what happened was, around 2014, now moving forward, I thought I had unlocked financial freedom.
Wow.
But that was a state of mind. Like it was a fallacy. I didn't know it yet. All right, so move on. I wasn't dating. I started dating in 2015. So 2015, 16, 17, right? Long distance relationship. So I thought I had unlocked that level where, and I was staying by myself, you know, like you think, okay, so I'm able to afford 1 or 2 things. I have dogs, so that means I'm clearly ready to be a dad.
Of course,
you know, like this stuff like that, right? Yeah. And I was slowly approaching 30. So you're thinking, okay, I'm about to become a man now. So this is natural progression of things, right?
Yeah.
So I thought I had unlocked a level of adulthood. right? So that's two levels.
The
Financially,
the important thing you've used is I thought.
I thought, and you know when I knew I thought? This year, anyway. So 2014, I thought I had unlocked a level of financial freedom. And then, okay, so as the years progress, you start to realize making money and having money are two very different things.
It's not what you make, it's what you keep.
Exactly. And you're keeping it, but doing what? You know, like making money and having money are two completely different things.
Yeah.
So very quickly, you start to realize, first of all, people gravitate towards money, right? Yeah. Givers know how to give, takers know how to take, takers never stop taking, givers never stop giving.
Yeah.
You know, so the money now becomes, okay, let's wait for the next salary. Let's wait for the next salary.
Yeah, it's never going to stop, is it? Yeah.
Then you start thinking, I thought I was making good money because I was making maybe a tenth of that in my previous job.
Wow, that's
right.
Yeah.
So, and I was surviving then. How come now I have to rely on my salary and nothing's changed?
Yeah.
Just the environment, your mentality. You know, you think you're at a higher level, but you're really not. So it's the same mindset.
Yeah.
Different at different level of cash, different account, different
That's
whatever.
so
same
valuable.
mindset.
That's so valuable.
Same mindset.
So it's not about the amount of money that's actually entering your account. It's about the work up here.
Yeah, that's why they keep telling you, if I give you 100 bob, and you know how to manage it, you can manage 1,000. But if I give you 100 and you don't know what to do, and then how people say, pay me more, I'll know what to do. You know, I'll manage my finances. No, manage whatever you can now. You know, if you can, well, I mean, that's a bit.
Now I want to say
it. I mean, now that I said it, it's one of those cliches, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So okay, so those are two levels, and then another level that I thought I had unlocked was socially. So the thing about social relationships, or like just having a social life, is that there's no template. Money is very clear. I have 1,000. If I spend 1,000, I will have zero.
Yeah.
It's very clear. Socially, if this person is not there, this person is there. If this one's not there, this one's there. Then when these two are not there, this one's back. So there's no template, there's no way to know like how you can manage life socially. You just have to go through what life brings you socially, right? And that's the thing that causes so many people's problems now in life, you know. So those are the three levels that I thought I had mastered. My house was game night house. Guys used to come, you know, do game night. My girlfriend is there asking me, when are we going to FaceTime? I know she's going to watch this. Jesus. But my girlfriend at the time. And so I started now thinking, okay, so I think I got this in the bag, where you got this and then you get a big car. I had a big car, you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
The boy was dripping, living life.
It was alright. It was alright. Well, the car was. See, let me tell you guys something.
Tell us.
Actually, what most people don't know is some. Again, we might come to it, but something.
You're wriggling in your chair, Georgie. What's going on?
Something called social capital, right?
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
So I had a big car in Kigali, right? Like it was a nice Benz and ML SUV. What people don't know is that I got that car from a friend who thought it was very expensive to maintain it. So they sold it to me at almost quarter the price. But people didn't.
But that was the trap. That was the trap.
But I could manage it.
You could.
Okay. But they couldn't manage it.
Yeah.
It was too expensive.
Okay.
But I could manage it. Like if you fix one or two things, it's fine. You can maintain it. So that's one. So the people thought the car was an expense. It was, you know, like you spent so much money on it. It wasn't. So perception, right? Yeah. And in today's world, perception is reality, you know? Yeah. So that was one. But the car did help me because anytime we used to go negotiate for moderation, for whatnot.
They'd see the car.
Time. You time. Like, you know, they say, okay, the meeting is at 2. If I reach 1:55, that's when they'll all be coming in, so that they wait for me at 2. So I reach at 1:55. So when they park, I park. They're like,
the price is high.
How are we going to negotiate?
Yeah, the price.
With this guy, this Kenyan.
And this car is
this
a quarter
Kenyan,
a quarter of the price that you would ideally get it for.
Yeah.
That was one. Number 2, in Kigali, when we used to go maybe have fun, let's say at the club, right? One of my tightest friends was a DJ, and one of our best clubs used to be a place where we would sit at the corner right near the DJ. He would have a nice couch and whatnot, like a really nice setup. People used to think that we used to spend so much money on alcohol, so much money on alcohol and like fun and drinks and whatnot. What people don't know as well is that the alcohol, the DJ was sponsored by the alcohol. For almost a whole year, we spent almost nothing on alcohol. Everyone around us gathered near our table. They wanted to know who these guys were. Like, we'd been in Kigali long enough, people thought we were Rwandan. People thought I was Rwandan or half Rwandan, half Kenyan. And so very soon you start to hang out with people and you get some form of social capital, but it's based on perception.
Dangerous.
Dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Very dangerous. The reason why 33 means so much to me is because all through 2014, when I had unlocked a different level of man, till 2021, August, I thought I had unlocked like proper levels.
Right.
I remember, so on my birthday, people came from different places, and I remember sending invites, personal invites to people and whatnot. And I didn't know, I thought it was going to be just as a nice 100 people, maybe 200 people come or what.
This guy said maybe a little 100,
modest,
maybe a few,
modest 100.
maybe a modest 200.
Hey, buddy, I don't know what your social capital is.
But mine's different.
Can you only get to less a J in the phone book?
But wait, not that much. But it's not G. It's not Rock Nation branch.
But it felt like it. You know what I mean? I was there. You know.
Do not dare, Gus. First of all.
Nah, man. Like
no. But I mean, like some amazing friends came, and I remember a pal called Steph. When I was giving the speech, it hadn't hit me at all. I was giving the speech, and then she just tapped me, and then she said, "Georgie, we're in Kiambu. It's 8. People have come from, I don't know where, your friends have come from different countries, the UK, whatever, Rwanda, whatnot. People have come here, it's cold, there's whatever, everyone's dancing, everyone's worn blue. I hope you know, nothing else has brought us here. You're not giving us, like, of course, there were cocktails. But, I mean, what's one cocktail? You know what I mean? We've come here because we really just want to celebrate like what you are in our lives. And it didn't hit me until 1 minute after.
The emotion.
I cried. Wow. I cried so much. I was thinking, what?
Yeah, the love.
Like, like you don't really, you don't get it. You know, like you're so used to just operating, you know, like, let's go. Like, and I operate in, that's why people always ask me, do you always sit and think? I operate in a way where you say, let's go. I'll think about it 10 years from now. Let's go. Like someone says, okay, you met the president. Let's go. Who's the next one? You know, let's go. You appreciate the moment, but you can't linger.
Yeah.
As much as I've lingered so much with so many of those moments because they help you get more gigs, but you know, but you can't linger. Like you can't linger in the glory.
100%.
Just keep it moving. So that was August. So after the crying and in the morning, like coming and looking at the gifts and whatnot, you're like, phew, damn, 33 really was like. But I still had like a bit of my emotional and my love life that I still had to handle.
Process,
And the lady in my life at the time, well, she still is in my life, but in a different capacity. She really, like, she was a point of like a lot of thoughts in my head. And as a man who's trying to navigate so much in life, you need clarity in almost every aspect. Every aspect, and it's so selfish. Because sometimes you're the one causing things not to be clear for someone else, but you need it clear for yourself. You know, like men are inherently very selfish. You know, and that didn't happen. That clarity didn't happen until September, end of September, where the unshackling happened. And it was a friend of mine who came over, and we had a conversation where, if you see my comments, there's a line I normally say when we're speaking with certain friends where we say, where I always tell people, may you never forget who you are. May you never forget who you are. May you never forget who you are. People try to like drag you into stuff and thoughts and whatnot. but you stay rooted like this. You know, like an anchor never moves. Like it's just the string that moves, the chain, but the anchor stays solid until it wants to move. Like it's yanked out. You know, so when that unlocking happened now, that's when I started to experience 33, because like my friend came and we had a nice dinner and they asked me some serious questions about myself. Do you think, you know, like really just vulnerability to the core, and stripped me down to the man I was in 2014.
Okay.
The man who had nothing. Naked, completely naked. That's why for me 33 will always be the year. Like, so now I feel like I can finally live.
Wow.
I was in a box. The previous workplace didn't allow me to do one or two things. Of course, I understand because of policy and legalities. But now you can do whatever you want, however you want it. As long as my mother approves.
Of course.
She's the only authority.
The only authority. My mother and God.
Yes.
Everyone else.
Yes.
Can just wait and receive whatever we put out or whatever we do.
Don't ask for permission.
If my mother says it's all right and I've made peace with God, anyone else is completely irrelevant.
I love that. Love that.
Yeah. Anyone else is like, it's just second opinion, but you've already gotten your opinion.
You've really touched on that social aspect and on your evolution as a man between the ages of, you know, when you turn 33. I want to take the conversation to people.
Gotcha.
You know, the people in your life, like you said, your friend who came and like laid bare the man that you thought you were. So Georgie, which people do you think have had the most impact in your life as mentors?
Yeah, that's a nice question. It probably doesn't make sense, but the people I've been in relationships with have been sort of mentors. If you think about it from
you okay?
From
Why
one,
are you laughing? Why?
have you not had a mentor in your life, buddy?
My guy, I've been taught a few things by the women in my life. You know what I mean?
You also said you haven't piggybacked. Are you really living life? But man, anyway.
That's a question for.
We're
gonna.
I think the camera is gonna go off in a second.
We start running right now.
Yo.
Live.
So we have. The thing about mentors also, it's very it's like Kanye. Like whenever you ask him, he has a thesis for everything. But the thing about mentors is that people think that a mentor is someone who's supposed to guide every aspect of your life. Sometimes it's not possible. It's just like having friends, right?
Exactly.
Your friend can't be your therapist, your business advisor, your word. Like you put so much expectation in one person. When they don't deliver, you're mad at them. Lower those expectations. Make that one a business partner. Make that one a therapist. Make that one someone you call when you want to hang out. Not all of them have to be the same person, and that's the same as a mentor. So I realized very quickly that some people just are there to tell you, Georgie, your LinkedIn profile is crap.
And that's a mentor.
That's a mentor, like who tells you, if you want to get to this level, change this, package yourself like this, get it done like this, speak like this, dress like this, address people like this, and you'll move career-wise. Some people will tell you, some people are mentors health-wise. They will tell you, like Rotimi.
Shout out to Rotimi.
He's actually off camera. Generally.
Is he though? I can't see it. We see So, like some people are your mentors health-wise. Right? So they guide you in such a way that it doesn't feel like work, right? It feels like it's natural progression. And some people, of course, you call when you want to hang out. Some people when you want to break down. And so I have people for every aspect. And the person that I was with who showed me what 33 is one of my biggest mentors. They always find a way to show me how basic my thinking is.
And it's essential.
Do you know how that feels when you think you're the smartest thinker in the room? Well, most of the times there are one or two people in the room. And it's the turtle. So if I'm not the thinker, if the tortoise is thinking more than me, then I have a problem. But sometimes you think you're the smartest person in the room, and then the person reminds you, but have you thought about it this way? And you're like, this is why I need you in my life. You know, something like that. So that. But if there's maybe something in terms of like, maybe just to go back to what we were discussing before as how you know you've reached a point where you can now speak, I'll wait. There's a There's like a nice point coming somewhere.
When I asked you that question,
taken
when I asked you that question, Georgie, I wanted to hear about the individuals and their names.
Oh, yeah?
Because, you know, sometimes I feel like people in our lives who've had an impact don't even know that they've had an impact. Yeah. We never mention them. We never say, shout out to, let's say, Rotimi for the amount of work that he's done in teaching us fitness and trying to make us more conscious in the work that he's been doing with his fitness party, which we discussed in the previous episode. I just realized that a lot of people who are our mentors never get the moment. They never get those flowers when we want to give them to them. So that's why I'm asking you, are there any individuals that you want to name now that you think that we should learn from and look at that have been in your life and have changed you and your perspective as a man as well as a journalist?
Yeah, well, as a journalist, of course, we have the people that helped me. Larry was one of the people that guided me to think.
Larry Mado.
I got into BBC under his watch, under his leadership, before he left for CNN. So he taught me how to work as a team, and how no matter how anyone sees you, or whatever you think, you know, the powers that be or whatever, like your team has to be solid. Your team is always solid. Like you can face anything, but once you go back to your team, you're 100%. So Larry taught me at least that bit of journalism and how to always think differently from everyone else and to just shush the noise, career-wise.
Nice.
Yeah, there's so much noise everywhere. Just shush it. And then now, you know, health-wise, we have Rotimi for sure. He made me remember like what it was like to feel nice, you know, having a certain body, and,
shoulders,
you know, like embracing. Do you know how many times I've been told I have shoulder pads?
Yeah.
Someone told me, shoulder pads! Georgie, it's Georgie. Anyway, yeah. And so there's that. And then the person that made me realize what 33 means and the person that stripped me bare is a friend of mine called Katya. Amazing person. Possibly one of the most amazing people I've met this year. So she's definitely a good mentor. She doesn't even know it, you know, and most mentors don't even know unless you ask them. My ma, obviously. My ma is my biggest financial advisor.
Amazing.
Can I tell you a funny story?
Yeah.
So the plan was to go to Canada this year, right? Like leave BBC and go to Canada for school. Damn it, I don't know whether our people from church are going to watch this and then like,
Did you ask them for Harambe? Did you?
No, we did. But so of course, one of the things that they ask, I was to go to school. One of the things that they ask is when you're taking your documents to the bank, you have your to show bank statements, to show proof that you're going to come back and whatnot, all that stuff. The crazy thing is you can't give your own statements. Yeah. You have to be linked to someone who's back here. My pops is away, my sister is away, my brother is away, right? So it's my ma and I here. That explains why we're so close. So I tell her, you know, the situation, and she's done it a million times before. She's done it for almost everyone in our family. And then she says, no worries. They said, you know, title deeds, bank statements, whatever. She said, don't worry, I got you. I said, all right. So the day comes for the documents, and I remember meeting in CBD because we needed to do the documents and then do the stuff online, whatever. And she comes with a bag. And then she gives me documents and envelopes and what. And then I remove them one by one. And it's like 25 title deeds.
What?
I'm like, mother.
Overkill. This is
Shelmith. What do you
passes
mean?
you a file. It's like,
yeah. She gave me files, and then she's like, yeah, don't worry, you'll know about this soon enough. And soon enough, I knew because she explained, you know, this is for you, this is for you. But she had all those title deeds, and she lived she had an account where we were signatories. It was our joint account. Yeah. Not only a signatory, it was a joint account.
Wow.
Basically, I can withdraw, she can withdraw.
Yeah.
I'm like, you haven't told me I've been eating beans 17 times in 2 weeks. You know? Yeah. And I didn't know about it. She's like, yeah, exactly. That's the point. Money is not to be spent. It has to stay and you see it. If you see your money today and you don't see it tomorrow, there's something wrong you're doing.
It's not your money.
So that's why I say my ma financially and as my confidant and like just someone who shows me the beatitudes of life. Be kind, love laugh,
Yeah.
you know, like do not show weakness when you don't need to, you know, things like that, like show strength, be the pillar of your family.
Yeah.
That's been my mentor as that, my mother. Yeah.
Wow.
Fire.
That's incredible. Georgie, there's again, I'm going back to like when I first got to know you, and one of the first things you ever said to me was that, Eli, you look like you're a guy that works hard. We didn't really know each other, but we'd see each other online. And something I've always struggled with is finding a work-life balance. These are conversations I've had with Timmy, with Oscar, as we become closer.
Yeah.
But you are, we've made jokes about this, you're the leader when it comes to finding the balance between working hard and having just as much fun.
A master.
A master, if you will. And so I'm definitely on that journey. And actually being around you boys has definitely helped me do that. How have you come to that place? Was it a very clear-cut balance that you struck, or was it like an evolution where you got to the point that, you know, this is work, this is fun? Or did it come from a place maybe of imbalance and having to find that balance?
Maybe.
Because a lot of guys, the narrative for men is, you know, grind, work hard. We don't, if you're sleeping, you're wasting, you know, you're making money, you're sleeping. All that stuff, right? Reference for Timmy.
You're
You're sleeping at this time. It's not possible.
It's not possible.
So I want to find out, like, how did you strike that balance? Because a lot of guys, they think that the working is the be all end all. It's the 100%. You don't have time for that. And I've been that guy, and I burn out, I get sick, right? But I'm trying to do that because of people like you that have shown me there's that balance. How did you get to that place?
I think we've had those instances. I think a lot of us have had those instances. I remember we were discussing with someone, and then someone told me, and then it happened at the workplace. Someone told me, by the way, I hope you know that if you collapse here, they'll have a replacement for you next week. I was like, oh.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
It is so true.
It is, yeah. The show goes on.
And that's exactly what happened because the guy broke his back and I replaced him.
My gosh, yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always someone who's ready to take that position. And what happens now is you just rush through life being the perfect version of yourself, right?
Guilty.
I remember that that was a rationale between like my Twitter and my Instagram. Like my Twitter is not as cheeky or jokey as my Instagram. My Twitter is kind of like my LinkedIn, just less words, because you still feel like it's a space where you can curate and get, maybe your career can progress. And then Instagram is a showcase of what work-life balance is, right? Right. And the problem with the problem why I don't engage too much on Twitter is because sometimes you can get dragged into a lot of social issues, and you don't want to be that person. You don't want to. I personally wouldn't want to be that person, right? Like it's fun when you watch it, but it can also do something to you if you actively participate, right? So that's the path I chose. But I didn't know about that work-life balance until it had to happen. I remember we were with. Like I don't know who we were with, but there's Tony Elumelu. He's Nigerian,
the Nigerian billionaire.
Yeah.
He has the Tony Elumelu Foundation.
Yeah.
Fire.
So, okay, so Tony is kind of like a pal.
Jesus Christ.
Not like that.
So
not
me
like
in a
that,
hurry.
not like that. No, it's like saying your landlord is your friend. They're not really. We just talked once.
So me and Jehovah.
Yeah, you know. You know, just
the
president. Let me tell you, the one time Georgie said something that I just went like, "Oh my god!" I rolled my eyes. Was the president of Rwanda has the softest hands?
Yeah.
And then me and Eli just went like,
firm grip, but really soft hands. It's mind blowing. Oh my god!
Fierce but vulnerable.
Amazing man, firm grip, soft man. Sir, what is your routine? You know?
Tell us, what do you use?
What do you use? You know, I've been here using Garnier. Well, plug. So, like, there's no switch, right, with that work-life balance. It's just knowing. Sometimes you create a life that is so perfect, and I think I was also guilty of that in the relationship, where you want your partner to be a certain way, right? Like you want your family to relate to you a certain way, or you want your friends or whatever a certain way. Yeah, you will never have the right balance. Like you try to curate your social life, your work life, I remember when Instagram introduced close friends. I had close friends for I think a day, where I would put some scandalous stuff, meaning like you would go out and just have a crazy time.
Yeah.
Then after a while, you're like, you know what? Come see. All of you come see. Huddle up. All of you come see.
See
come
the madness.
See what's up. Yeah. You know, like, I mean, I understand, of course, for some people, it's a bit more touchy than others because of professional settings. But I personally feel like it's just reminding yourself that you can have a certain amount of fun that allows you to, you know, just have a normal life. Like, you can. What's the problem with laughing? Oh, the reason why I mentioned Elumelu, actually, that's the point. So we had gone to Switzerland for the World Economic Forum. So we
Davos,
in Davos, yeah.
Oh God,
And
this
then,
man's gone to Davos. First of all, fist bump.
Hasn't-
That's my dream like destination. Like one of the reasons why I want to, and you can go back to the episodes where I was talking about one of the reasons why I want to start a multi-million-dollar business is because I just don't think there's enough African representation in these forums. Like World Economic Forum, it's always like, sorry to say it, but a lot of like white guys sitting somewhere and going, oh, this is how the world should go. And like black, like us Africans don't really get that much of an opportunity. So the fact that you say that Tony actually is one of the few who've gone there, and I like kind of from the research I've done about Tony Elumelu, he's one of the few Africans who actually cares about African growth and African economics and how we can grow as a continent. So like for me, that's a big thing.
Big part of that is that's true.
It's nice. Well done. So of course we were speaking about the possibility of joining his company and like doing some work together and whatnot. And then he says, oh, by the way, you know, like my guys will send you the contract or whatever. And like he's having a very serious conversation with people that he's hired out the breakfast place, and people have come to have breakfast. And then he says, okay, after all that talking and whatnot, he says there's the Tony Elumelu Foundation is doing the thing for the entrepreneurs. It's in Lagos and all that stuff. So I saw two elements. So he was in Davos, where he's supposed to be speaking to a huge group of investors from around the world. And he still has the time to say, what are you doing in the evening? You know, like, what are you doing in the evening? He said, no, we'll be sitting editing. Editing? You've been working the whole time. What do you mean you're editing? Enjoy. You're in a different place. What do you mean?
Enjoy.
Yeah. Then we went to Lagos, and he had called almost everyone to Nigeria to just discuss entrepreneurs and young entrepreneurs and startups and whatnot. And at the end, in his building, like there was he threw a huge party.
Wow.
And he told guys, just what do you live life for? Like, what do you live for if you're like this the whole time? When are you ever going to see the sun, you know? So that's a proper mantra. I believe if you sleep 7 hours, 6 to 7 hours or enough sleep, and you can balance out life, social, like don't be unkind to anyone. Whatever you do should be no one's business.
That's very true.
Explain nothing to no one. Just have fun if you want to. If you don't, stay home. It's up to you. Get sponsored if you want.
There's no rules.
There's no TGL, Glenlivet.
I honestly, bro, like I think that's one of the most uplifting conversations we've had in terms of Man Talk. I think I've learned a ton just sitting across from you and just hearing your perspective on all these issues. And you know, who'd have thought, you know, that, you know, from humble beginnings, you know, like who'd have thought, like, you know, from humble beginnings to you now to
still, I mean, not yet.
Lies.
It's complete nonsense. This guy, and you know, knowing you on a personal level, it's incredible to me how you switch from serious to fun just like that. Like I've never seen anything like that.
Seriously fun and fun seriously. Never.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Don't you ever get that wrong.
I'm going to be in trouble.
Fun
I'm going to be in trouble.
seriously.
This episode is gonna slap.
That's another piece of merch right there.
That's another. We're
Can I give you another piece that you guys can? All right, cool. If I don't see myself in a reel, I'm coming back and I'm burning everything.
Okay, go.
There's three cameras.
We gotta. Where is it?
It's 1, 2, and 3. Whatever you want.
There's 3.
They're geniuses.
There you go.
Right. I saw this somewhere, and we were discussing with people about how men are vulnerable, right? Or like men don't show vulnerability. And we were discussing this, and you know, like the universe normally throws you hints. Like when you start thinking about a car, the universe starts to show you cars on the road. When you think about a certain outfit, it starts to show you a phone or whatever. So what showed on social media? It said, use emotionality as a radical tactic against society that claims that emotion is weakness.
Oh, wow.
Use emotionality
against
as a radical tactic against anyone who says vulnerability is a weakness.
That's so true.
And the difference between emotionality and emotions, like emotions is the feeling, right? Emotionality is the psychological and observable behavior when you feel a certain emotion.
It is allowing.
Emotionality is like
it is
a science.
conscious decision
Yeah.
to feel,
Yes.
and to feel fully.
Yeah.
That's a struggle that men go through. That emotionality.
Struggle. So use emotionality as a radical tactic
Yeah.
against society that says vulnerability is weakness, right? When you look at someone and say, buddy, I love you, buddy.
Meaning,
Initial responses.
I love you too, man. Yeah. So I wish more people say that to each other.
That's very true. Literally, the other weekend, you said that at the table. I remember you saying.
Absolutely.
yeah, he did.
To just be able to say.
Every time.
He did.
Any chance I get. And we've been having a conversation with friends as well, where we were saying, I asked, even yesterday on phone, we were discussing with someone, and we said, like, do you tell friends how often do you say I love you? And I remember before, when I was a younger man, I love you was only for your girlfriend, and it was when you had gone like a few months, like you can't say it first. You have to wait
there's
for
maths
a bit.
to it.
Yeah, there's math, and then you say.
I still don't use that on women.
And then
bro.
can you imagine you say I love? Really?
I still don't.
One day.
Your
Nah,
30s
one day
are going to be a struggle.
I still don't.
Oh my gosh,
I
Oscar,
still
Jesus.
don't. Nah, I used it when I was young, when I was careless. Now it's like, nah.
It's such a beautiful, if you feel it, like, and then now you just say, oh, good night, I love you, buddy.
It's been 7 years since I used that word. Jesus, that I love you on my bros maybe, but like when it comes to relationships, that I love you, it takes a while before it comes out.
Oh yeah.
It's been 7 years since.
Are you single now?
Extremely.
You're single.
Extremely.
No, I mean saying yes is fine.
Single,
Extremely,
extremely single.
damn.
And
How
like
long has it been?
7 years now. No,
You've been
is it
single for
7?
7 years?
It's been no, not 7 years. I think it's 5 years.
I'm 7.
Yeah, he's 7.
I'm 7. I'm
He's
7.
7 years.
You've been single for 7 years.
7 years. Yes.
Do you guys know what the word single means?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
like no commitment. Like no commitment. You know, I'm not.
For me, it just means alone.
No commitment,
Alone, no one beside you. And,
Nala.
nala, just nala. Nala, but nala.
Thanks so much for your feedback.
This is turning to the Georgie Ndirangu.
Slowly,
Yeah.
slowly.
Before we descend into chaos, I want you to, before you've given some advice for the younger guys, we're very big on self-development here. We're very big on shouting out what we've taken and what we can now pass on. Books we've read, quotes we've heard. The quote was fantastic, thank you. But what is one piece of content, book, movie, it can be jovial, it can be serious, something that you have read or seen that's been transformative, even if it's lifted your mood. A song lifted your mood. Is it a book that changed your perspective? One thing that you can give to someone to go and Google.
Snap. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a book by a guy called Jeremy Hasney, I think. It was Denzel Washington's recommendation.
Personal
Jeremy Hasney.
friend.
Yeah, well, no. What?
So when I was with the president, then there was Denzel.
Yeah.
The book is called Siddhartha, where this guy, Siddhartha, Jeremy Hasney, something like Siddhartha, where the guy was in such a search for spirituality that he wanted to see how the Buddhas live and whatnot. So he went on such a journey to spirituality just to understand.
Wow.
So he went so how Denzel normally puts it is, and which was nice reading, this guy went from simplicity to nothing to luxury back. Wow. You know, like so the lesson there was, if you can't survive in all those aspects, then you're not doing life right. Basically meaning, if you don't have millions and whatnot, you still have people.
Yeah.
You can still live a full, happy life. If you have the money, you can travel and still live a full happy life. So simplicity to luxury and back is what the book talks about. And I think if I can embody exactly, or not exactly, but like aspects of that book, I would have lived a very full life.
Wow. I think based on just your story, knowing you personally, I think you do embody that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he embodies that. So Georgie, the next question I have from you is actually from your boy Rotimi, who was here.
Man like Rotimi.
Yeah, the man gave us a slapping episode. His question is, and it's so him. It's so him. It's crazy. How seriously
Say it like he would say it.
How seriously do you take your physical fitness?
What's if is that you? Man, I never used to take it as seriously as I do now.
Fire.
It's everything. Like you can, when you wake up in the morning, even on Saturday, you're like, Rotimi, I'm sorry, I'm late. No, it's Saturday. Okay, it's fine.
That's the
It's
weekend.
fine. Yeah, it's the weekend.
Yeah.
But now it's like you step on the scale or you eat. You go to places and you're like, no, give me the salads. Well, and some meat, but salad more. You know?
Yeah.
But it's now become a way of life, and you're even thinking, okay, so what's going to happen even when Rotimi is not there, and there's an answer. Before there was no answer, you know. It's like I need Rotimi in my life, but he's instilled so much discipline that it's now, I think, part and parcel of who we are, who I am. Yeah, it's nice. That man, bless that man.
Beautiful man, beautiful man. So that's how he ended his episode, to pass the question on to the next guest.
Gotcha.
Now we'll do the same. Could you pass the question on to the next guest? We won't tell you who it is,
Okay,
so you can remain objective. A
perfect.
question for the next guest to answer.
Okay. If there was no social media and the societal metrics of validation, short, tall, lights, likes, Instagram DMs, whatnot, how much happier would your life be?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
This guy.
Of course. Now that's what I'm going to be thinking about when I'm sleeping.
Jesus, Siddhartha
that's a beautiful-
itself.
That's a beautiful question.
It's a tough question.
Yeah. And with that, Georgie, I just want to say thank you for making
Thanks,
the time.
guys.
Since I've come back to Kenya, we've become incredibly close, in my opinion, and it's been an absolute honor for you to now come and grace the set with your knowledge, with your stories, with your encouragement, with your vulnerability, and just what you do online in terms of just being a positive force. Never take that for granted, because we see it and we feel it. So please keep doing that, and thank you for coming through to Man Talk.
Can I just get that part, just so I can play it in the morning?
Yeah, with the British accent, no less. You can have that with your
See it
tea.
and we feel it.
Yeah,
Have it with tea.
Have it with your tea. You know.
I'll just be having my Ginsman.
I really appreciate. We see what you
yeah.
guys are doing and the
Yeah.
kind of space that you guys are creating. So I hope you never stop. You know,
Yeah.
just keep elevating.
Never.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Me, I just want to thank you for one thing. Actually, two. One is French music.
First of all, that's all courtesy of my Rwandan family.
Oh my God.
Taste in music, incredible.
Jesus, like ever since, you know, when we were in Marrakesh at the coast, and then you started that playlist, I was like, that sounds so different. And when I started, I'm not stopped. So now it's just like, if you see my stories, it's just like, I blame Georgie.
Yeah.
I blame Georgie. So thank you for that. And two, I also want to say thank you for kind of giving us access to your networks a little bit. Because you know, for my perspective is I've never seen someone who's as connected regionally as much as you are. So you
Use the wrong word. Change that word.
internationally.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Please carry on.
Okay. So yeah, I'm not seeing someone who's as connected regionally.
But of course, of the Paris, he's
I'll stick with my regionally. And the reason why,
wow. To the guest.
yeah, the reason why I'm saying that is because I had the opportunity to meet an actual NBA scout head for the Basketball Africa League, Sarah, who has been like, that dinner for me had so much impact. You didn't even know. And the fact that we come from kind of the same area, this just changed. It changed my mind. Like I just was like, wow. Like, you know, it was like, wow, like literally the NBA is sitting across from me and she's showing me footage. I was like, hopefully we'll have on the podcast, but like just that one interaction had so much value. And that's not something that, you know, I take for granted. So thank you so much for that, Georgie. And thank you for coming to the podcast and giving your time.
Cool. Stay tuned. There's a lot more.
Hey, slow down.
Yeah.
Hey, slow down.
We love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. So
Thank
guys, see you on the next episode. Remember to like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
If you don't know Georgie, his link is there. Georgie, love you, bro. Thanks.
Oh, you
Hey.
I'm learning all the time. There it is. There it is. But yeah, I'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you for staying. See you on the next one.
Hey.